So, first things first, what about the numerator? Is there a GCF for the numerator? 1, right? Okay. So we'll focus on that. So for that, how many terms are there? 3. What strategy do I have here? All right, so we got GCF is 1. 3 terms. Coefficient of the squared term, is it 1? No, so we're going over here now. So what do we got to do? We have to find factors of AC that add up to B, factoring by grouping. All right, let's go back to our work. When you do this here, the factoring by grouping is done on scratch paper. We need to figure out what the final answer is going to be for that factoring. So we know it's going to be, well, if it's not prime, then it won't factor, but we only know that after we try to do the work. So off to the side, I will do that grouping. So scratch work. So if I'm trying to factor 6p squared plus 11p minus 10, what is A times C for that? Negatives, did I miss, it's a 10?
Yeah.
Okay, negative 60. All right, now I want the product to be negative 60 and the sum to be 11. Do we know what those numbers are? Okay. Good. We rewrite it, so we get 6p squared. Recall, if there's a negative and a positive, I like to put the negative first. So I'm going to put minus 4p plus 15p minus 10. All right, now group. Since the third term is positive, I can group right away. Out of the first group, what can I factor out? 2p. So if we factor out a 2p, we get 3p minus 2. Out of the second group, we can factor out 5, leaving 3p minus 2. And at this stage, if you already know what it's going to factor to because you can see it, then you can go right back to the work. But I'll just finish this one off. So it'll be 3p minus 2 times 2p plus 5. So once I figure out how it factors on my scratch paper, I now come back to my work and I transfer that result. I transfer this over here. So that's going to be 3p minus 2 times 2p plus 5. All right. Did everyone get most of that already? Just ask me after class and I can show you again. But so we just factor that. Now what about the denominator? I need to factor that. Difference of squares, right? So first of all, GCF is 1, right? Last time flowchart. So GCF is 1, 2 terms, and then because there are squares present, right, in the polynomial that are there, that probably tells me, oh, let me check to see if it's this, difference of squares. All right. And so we see that the 9p squared, well, that's the same thing as 3p squared, right? And 4 is the same thing as 2 squared. So it's a difference of squares. So now, how will that factor? Times 3p plus 2, correct. And so now do we see the common factors that we can divide out? Right, the 3p minus 2's, those are going to go. And then what are we left with? 2p plus 5 divided by 3p plus 2.